Welcome to the tutorials for education reinforcement items. These tutorials will cover education reinforcement item classification and filling out the request form. This video will be focusing on education reinforcement item classification. If you need to watch a separate section, click on that section to be taken to the video for it. Education reinforcement items can be referred to by several terms. ERIs, Nutrition Education Reinforcement Items or NERIs, Premium NERIs, which refers to them being purchased through the Eat Well Be Well website, Nutrition Education Reinforcement Materials, and Incentive Items. For the remainder of the tutorial, they will be referred to as ERIs. ERIs are defined as a group of goods that are given to the SNAP Education Outreach audience and will be selected to support the AZNN social marketing campaigns. These materials contain or convey nutrition or obesity prevention messages and promote healthy eating and active living. There are specific rules that ERIs will need to follow in order to be approved. Let's go over each rule with examples. ERIs must target the intended SNAP audience. When ordering an ERI, you will need to be sure that they are targeted for the specific SNAP audience they will be given to. For instance, if the SNAP audience is children ages 5 to 10, it would not be appropriate for the ERI to be a vegetable peeler or a knife sharpener. Instead, the ERI could be a frisbee or a lunchbox. ERIs must have a clear, relevant, and useful connection to the particular SNAP education or obesity prevention messages. Each item needs to clearly connect to one of the obesity prevention and nutrition reinforcement messages that are taught by SNAP Ed, which include but are not limited to portion control, increasing consumption of fruits and vegetables, getting at least 30 to 60 minutes of physical activity a day, drinking water instead of sugary drinks, cutting back on solid fats, added sugars, and salt, etc. Examples of items that reinforce these messages include measuring spoons to reinforce portion control, or salad spinners to reinforce increasing vegetable consumption. Alongside this, you would not be able to purchase items such as soda cozies or salt shakers that negate the nutrition education messages being taught by SNAP Ed. ERIs must contain an education message or have a use that is directly relevant to reinforce nutrition education and obesity prevention messages. All ERIs and printed materials are required to have the Champions for Change logo. However, if an ERI does not have a directly relevant use to reinforce nutrition education messages, such as a pencil that is shaped like an apple, it would need to have an education message on it as well. This is because a pencil does not have a directly relevant use, but the shape would connect it to the message of increasing fruits and vegetables. If an ERI does have a directly relevant use to reinforce the nutrition education, such as a portion plate to reinforce portion control, it would not need to have a nutrition message and would just need a logo. ERIs must have value as nutrition education and obesity prevention aids. This rule reinforces the notion that ERIs must be relevant to the teachings of SNAP Ed. Items such as pedometers or water bottles contain value as a prevention aid by being a reusable item that could continually remind the audience of nutrition messages. An item such as a candy bar could not be used because it is a single-use item and negates the nutrition messages taught by SNAP Ed. ERIs must be offered only after weighing and assessing other relative needs and cost effectiveness. This rule requires the ERI to be justified in comparison to other possible interventions. For instance, if a 2-hour cooking class costs the same amount of money as 250 salad shakers, it would need to be determined whether the ERI or the class would be a more effective intervention for the target audience. ERIs must be of nominal value of $4 or less per item. ERIs are typically purchased for a bulk rate. So be sure when checking price that each singular ERI does not cost more than $4. ERIs are not to be used solely for marketing or staff morale purposes. ERIs are items that are to be given to the SnapEd audience to support the lessons taught. This rule is a reminder that they are not to be used only as a way to market for SnapEd, nor are they to be used as a gift for staff. ERIs cannot be purchased unless they have been approved and budgeted beforehand, so be sure to contact your RC or appointed unit manager before moving forward. If the ERI you plan to order follows each of these rules, you can move on to filling out the ERI request form. If the ERI you plan to order does not follow any of these rules, contact your RC or appointed unit manager. This concludes the ERI classification tutorial. If you have any questions, contact your RC or the accounting team.